Graham was elected to the U.S. House in 1994 and has served as a U.S. Senator since 2002.
Senator, good evening. How do we maintain free trade that is fair trade, and what nations specifically are cheating us?
Well, China is cheating. They manipulate their currency to create a discount for products made in China, and we don't do a damn thing about it. They're building islands over resource-rich territory owned by others because they can. They cyber attack us, steal our intellectual property, and nobody pushes back. If I'm president, we're going to push back against China. Here's my foreign policy, my trade policy. A clenched fist and an open hand. You choose.
Speaking of China, certain nations have been accused of stealing and breaking into our databases in the government and business. If it's President Graham and you catch a country doing that, how can we stop it and what do you do?
Well, one, you hit back. You make them pay a price. Most people do things they can get away with until it costs too much. In China, China cheats, they steal, but it's just not China. We've been walked all over. I'm tired of it. I want a clenched fist and an open hand. To Mr. Putin, if I'm President of the United States, you're going to have a different person to deal with. Why is he in the Ukraine today? Because when Obama drew a red line against Assad and didn't do anything about it, China thought, hey, this is a weak guy, let's grab all we can grab. In the Ukraine, he took what he wanted. The Iranians, they don't think that Obama's going to use military force at all. And how could you get John Kerry away from the negotiating table with a crowbar? So at the end of the day, our foreign policy is failing. We're not respected around the world. There are more terrorist organizations with more capability to strike our homeland than any time since 9/11. And to radical Islam, here's my policy. Whatever it takes, as long as it takes to defeat you.
You mentioned Vladimir Putin in the Ukraine. Should we be arming troops?
We should do four things. Arm the Ukrainians so they can fight for their own freedom. We signed an agreement with the Ukraine in the 90s. If you'll give up your 2,400 nuclear weapons, excuse me, we'll guarantee your sovereignty. Who would do that in the future? Arm the Ukrainians so they can fight for their freedom. Take every bit of natural gas we can find in America in an environmentally sound way that we don't use and export it to Europe and undercut Putin's monopoly. Rebuild NATO after we rebuild our own military. Everybody talks about balancing the budget and spending money. We're on the road to becoming Greece. If you don't do what Judge Gregg says and fix the debt, reform Medicare and Social Security, all the money is going to go to pay those bills. When I was 21, my mom died. When I was 22, my dad died. We lived in the back of a liquor store. I'm 60 years old. Somebody in this country needs to do what Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill did. Get us together. You know, I could give up some Social Security benefits today because I'm going to have a military retirement, a congressional retirement, a 401k plan. I would take less knowing that people need it more than I do. When I was 22, I needed every penny. I want to be president to restore a great nation, to put radical Islam in a box and to get us off the road to Greece. And that means we've got to work together and do the big things, the hard things.
Americans, and here in New Hampshire, are worried about lone wolf terrorists. We're worried about ISIS. We're worried about ISIS.
Yeah.
But the war tomorrow may already be here today. We have 500 satellites out there in space that control ATMs, GPS. If someone took out one of those satellites and caused chaos here in a city of the heartland, as President Graham, would you respond? Is that an act of war or not?
I would respond. To me, that'd be an act of war. Here's the problem. As the threats to this country grow, we're disarming ourselves. I've never seen more threats, particularly in the cyber arena. So what is our response? To cut the military budget, to have the smallest army since 1940, the smallest Navy since 1915, to neuter the FBI, the CIA, and the NSA at a time we need them the most. The only way we're going to prevent an attack on this country is hit them before they come here. And as to Hillary Clinton, the last person in the world you want to send into the arena with the Russians is Hillary Clinton. As to the Clintons, I've been dealing with this crowd for 20 years. I'm fluent in Clinton speak. You want me to translate, Jack? When he says, Bill says, I didn't have sex with that woman, he did. When she says, I'll tell you about building the pipeline when I get to be president, means she won't. And when she tells us, trust me, you've got all the emails that you need, we haven't even scratched the surface. So I understand this crowd, and I can beat them, and if we can't beat them, it doesn't matter.
Thank you, Senator.